Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Sarah Campbell.
Our headlines today.
Well, our economics editor Faisal Islam is in Davos, where President Trump delivered that speech, and he's been looking at the reaction from other world leaders.
Let's speak now to our chief political correspondent. I'm not sure where you want to start, really. The withdrawal of tariffs, for example, for the UK government.
It is 16 minutes past 6. It was a really wet day for some of you yesterday. Let's hand over to Matt and find out whether today is likely to be as wet. Morning to you, Matt.
Morning, Sarah. Morning, Charlie. Morning.
Thank you very much, Matt. See you later.
Now, ahead of new NHS figures being released today, teams across the BBC in England are focusing on healthcare.
And one of the issues they're looking at, which affects millions of patients each year, is the current state of accident and emergency departments. Our reporter, Joanne Riddle, has been to speak to staff and patients at Worcestershire Royal Hospital's A&E department to find out what challenges they're facing. Saying that viewers in England can find out more about BBC NHS Day by visiting the BBC News website. We'll be discussing more throughout the programme this morning.
We will indeed, but let's take a look at today's papers and not surprisingly President Trump's announcement.
Worth it just for that.
Yeah, lots of discussion in the papers about Prue leaving after 9 years on Bake Off. Also one story, sort of food related. Apparently, we obviously know that there's a lot of people in the UK, there's an obesity crisis, but apparently more than half of dogs are also overweight. And this is a survey by a dog food maker, and they're saying that part of the problem is that people are feeding them their own food, fish and chips and ice cream, apparently.
Specifically fish and chips?
Well, it just says, it says that on average, owners have fed their dogs fish and chips. 23% of dogs have been fed fish and chips and 10% have eaten ice cream belonging to their owners. So there you go.
Really?
I think the general consensus is maybe don't.
Don't do it. 6:24 is the time now. Over the weekend, we brought you the story of a nuclear bunker on the East Yorkshire coast, which is close to falling into the sea because of coastal erosion.
Well, following that report, a Cold War volunteer got in touch to say he was a member of the small, secretive team that was based there, and Paul Murphy went to meet him. That's fascinating. It doesn't look like it's going to be there long, perched precariously on the edge of the cliff.
Time now to get the news, travel and the weather where you are.
Good morning. This is Breakfast with Charlie State and Sarah Campbell.
So here's one of those questions. How many subscriptions are you signed up to? How many of them do you ever actually use?
Oh, it's so easy, isn't it, to be tempted by those free trials, which then start charging. And if that's you, it could be costing you because you forget to get rid of your subscription. I mean, Peter, it's a problem. I'm sure we're all very familiar with this.
I'm really keen to hear from people as well, actually, because it got us talking in the office yesterday. And
that's the other thing. It's hard to even track how many you've signed up to because it's not that clear.
6:35 the time. Mike's joined us.
You know, the top of the Champions League table, so the crucial top 8, which means you don't have to bother about playoffs to get into the next round. It's looking like a full English. 5 out of the 8 clubs are from the English. Shows the strength of the Premier League, and Liverpool have certainly looked revived last night in the south of France. It will make sure that I soak up every moment of my final season. So he signed a contract extension with Saracens, the only club he's been at, really. But he says he just wants to make the early notice so he can really make the most of every moment.
Yeah, that is...
and give his friends and family plenty of time to, whip round and get a party sorted, I think.
That is plenty of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is unusually long, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Often you hear at the end of this season, but at the end of next season, that's pretty unusual.
Mike, thank you very much.
Thank you. Now then, it's been nearly 21 years since the rugby union player Matt Hampson suffered life-changing injuries in a training session with his club, Leicester Tigers.
Since then, he's dedicated his life to helping others and is now aiming to raise £100,000 by completing the London Marathon while on a ventilator. Angela Rafferty has this report. Angela Rafferty with that report there. And just to give you a little update on what's happening this morning on the programme, a lot of talk about the goings-on with Greenland and President Trump. This morning, we're trying to wrap up exactly where that has landed. 7:30 this morning, speaking to the Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper, and try and get some clarity on just what kind of a deal, if there is a deal, that has been done. That is what the president is saying.
Yeah, it's a bit of an unclear situation at the moment. We know there's a framework deal, but it's quite short on details. So, as Charlie was saying, we'll aim to get some clarity with the Foreign Secretary, who was in Davos yesterday, is in Davos. That'll be just after 7:30 this morning. Now, we are hoping to get a bit of a weather report with Matt Taylor, because, as you all know, pretty horrible weather yesterday, and let's find out whether today's weather is likely to be any better. And looking at the picture behind you, Matt, I'd say that maybe not, although that is Italy.
It is Italy, but yes, our weather has been pretty groggy.
Thank you very much, Matt. We'll see you later.
See them.
Now, let's move to East Yorkshire, because it's home to the fastest eroding coastline in Europe, and as a result has become a must-visit destination for fossil enthusiasts from around the world.
A mammoth tusk and a woolly rhino tooth are just some of the treasures that have been discovered in the region in recent years. Our reporter Amanda White has been taking a look. And that report was by Amanda White.
Yeah, it was. And we will be talking to Phil Manning from the National History Museum a little bit more about fossil exploration later in the programme. Should be quite interesting.
Time now is 6:51. So, have a look at the image that's behind us right now. It's an extraordinary picture, this. This is the extent of fly tipping at Bwrch Mountain in South Wales.
Yeah, you can see it there, can't you? A huge amount of rubbish has been dumped and can be seen from miles away. It has been described by the locals as a river of waste, with the council saying it's
Us. Now, good morning.
now 6:56. Time to get the news, the travel and the weather where you are.
Pretty successful?
Only just. Yeah, she's
just
pushing
about.
it. She's doing all right, I think.
Yeah. Matt, thank you very much.
Now, the issue of school readiness is something we've been following closely on Breakfast, with reports suggesting more pupils than ever are starting school without being toilet trained or having basic language skills.
New data from the early years charity Kindred Squared shows growing concern among teachers who say they're having to stop lessons to deal with accidents and nappy changes. Our reporter Ellie Price has more. We should say the government's told us it's introducing a number of measures to address school readiness. A spokesperson said we are developing the first ever national guidance on screen time for under fives to help parents support their children's development, seeing early signs of improvement with more children reaching a good level of development by age 5. But we know there is further to go.
Well, we are joined now by Felicity. You've done this research. We've done this story year on year in terms of children not being ready, but the pattern is getting worse rather than better.
Yes, the data is going in the wrong direction. Nursery workers and parents, pottytrainingguide.co.uk, so that everybody can...
You were talking about this, the reference guide that you jointly, this is a joint operation
Yes.
that's brought us out. I mean, you say you're starting with some of the basics. It does say there's a question.
Yes.
And a toilet training seat and a step so the child can reach the point. It's not necessarily, this is not necessarily to damn people. It's about encouraging them to do the right thing. You know, you haven't done this, you haven't got this done right. That's not necessarily an easy conversation, is it?
I agree. And look, blaming, getting behind the same message and saying start early. The window when a child with no boundaries...
It's not just about potty training, is it?
No, it's not.
I mean, with social media, there's a big debate going on at the moment for sort of thinking about it as teenagers.
Yeah.
But actually, when you talk about young children, a lot of the issues about language development and children trying to swipe, even not a device.
Of a child's development. The first 2 years is when our brains...
Felicity, it's really good to talk to you, Chief
very
Exec
much.
of Kindred Squared, and let's hope when you're on here again, probably next year, that the figures will be going in the right direction. Thank you.
7:28, that means it's time to get the news, travel and the weather where you are. Mike? 7:48 the time.
Now, Matt Green is known as the rapping science teacher, and he's gained more than 1 million followers on social media by turning the school syllabus into catchy rap songs.
And he's now hoping to take that idea from the internet into the classroom with a series of revision books called Wrapping Up Science. Let's take a look at some of his work. The leap for us, though, Matt, because I'll play devil's advocate here. So
All right.
young people could like what you do, and they could like the rap, and they like, you know, you and your character and what you're doing. That doesn't necessarily mean they're learning more or better because of having engaged with what you're doing? Do you know if they are, if it's actually translating
100%.
to knowledge?
And that's who I'm trying to get in contact
It's really
with.
interesting that, because we had the horrible histories, didn't we? And they say that a lot of that was about people, the young people just going, it's interesting, it's quirky, it's funny or whatever.
Yeah, that's
and it draws you to the subject matter.
Teachers obviously go into teaching because you want to help children. You want to help children learn.
That's
to have this massive audience now and giving you direct feedback, that must be great, isn't it?
Have you had any kickback, Matt, from, I don't know, more conventional means of education, from people saying, you know, hold on a minute, this is all very well, but...
I think in the early days...
A lot of the pupils that you'll be talking to will be looking at you on social media. Talk at the moment saying that social media needs to be banned for under 16s.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously that would have a... What's your thoughts on that and social media and whether it can be a good thing?
A school is a one-size-fits-all, and to connect parents to their children's phones. And if you ban it, kids will...
Nice to see you here this morning. Thank you very much. Not necessarily at 7:57 in the morning, so not easy to do that. New revision book series Wrapping Up Science is available now. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
very much. Time now to get the news, the travel and the weather where you are. Now, it is just coming up to 16 minutes past 8, and we had some pretty awful weather here yesterday, but not quite as bad as it's been in Italy. Matt has all the details, and they are quite astonishing pictures.
They are.
2 minutes past 8. Here's a question. How many subscriptions have you signed up to? How many of them do you ever use?
Yeah, it's so easy, isn't it, to be tempted by free trials, which then start charging and could be costing you money.
Peter's going to explain a little more. Well, are you guilty, Peter?
Well, I set little reminders on your calendar when it
Such
comes
a good
up.
idea.
Quite a good tip. Sorry to be, you know, smug about what I do, but there you go.
It's fine, you carry on.
It's a good tip, and we've got some more tips coming up from Harry Kind. Joins us now. If my inbox this morning is any...
This all the time. And Peter was putting a very good thing about putting reminders in your calendar, because I always forget. But it does feel a little bit like some of these companies make it as difficult as it can be for useless, but a lot of us are.
A lot of us are, and you know, I do think they know that something was going to be a recurring payment. Maybe even they get caught by a scam. A lot of scams will use a subscription as a way of clawing the money out of your account.
That's it. It's probably a really silly question, Harry, but if something's coming out of your account that you had temporarily subscribed to and you no longer do, so you're not using it.
Yes.
Are you within...
Who says, ask this exact question, Charlie. If I just cancel my direct...
It's sadly not. You know,
If, say, you're on you subscribe to something for a limited period of time, the end of that time, you notify them that you're not... Whether they've responded or not, you notify them and you say...
Details to log into his account. So he's really struggling to cancel about details of your subscription.
That's really difficult. I would suggest get powerful in that situation and make that appeal directly to them. So this is why we do need to have more rights in this area.
It's complicated quite quickly, doesn't it?
It really is. Really is. It's tough. Auto renewal. Is there a way that makes
that kind of active rather than
all good information? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, indeed, very good information. I really need it. Morning Live follows breakfast on BBC One this morning. Let's find out what they have in store. Morning, Gethin. Morning, Nikki. Well, we're joined now by Simon Browse. The North. Morning to you.
Good morning.
Is there ever a quiet day these days in A&E? I just wonder how it must feel. Obviously, we've been hearing from patients, from families over the last couple of care, really disturbing stories. It must be so demoralising for staff to know that these people need help and yet there isn't one available.
Who are getting treatment are forgiving of the situation. Saying staff are doing everything they can. We understand the pressures. Held in a corridor is dangerous, not good in terms of reluctant to go to hospital because they fear that the care they'll get will not be correct. They'll be one of those stuck outside an ambulance, stuck in a corridor. And that might deter people from... Presumably, logic dictates that you say if your need is the greatest, you will get the help you need. But if the workload has grown so much and there are that many people awaiting treatment, then the determination of what is an urgent need will necessarily change.
I mean, the government, Department of Health and Social Care, have said to us, we have invested about £500 million in urgent and emergency care, delivered hundreds of thousands of more vaccinations to protect the vulnerable, and are building new same-day emergency centres and mental health crisis centres. So they say, as you say, they are investing in the system, but you're saying that on the coalface, it doesn't seem to be trickling.
Simon, we appreciate your time today, Simon Browse.
And, viewers in England can find out more about the BBC NHS Day by visiting the BBC News website.
East Yorkshire is home to the fastest eroding coastline in Europe, and as a result has become a must-visit destination for fossil enthusiasts from around the world.
Yeah, so a mammoth tusk and a woolly rhino tooth are just some of the treasures that have been discovered in the region in recent years, and our reporter Amanda White has been to take a look, or a dig.
That was Amanda White reporting. It was Harry, wasn't it, who was wowing? Or wow. There's a lot of wow going on there. Here to tell us more about the fossil finds is Professor Phil Manning, who joins us from the Natural History Museum in Abu Dhabi, where he's Director of Science. And I'll start. Morning, Professor.
Morning.
First of all, I'll say wow to the fossil that you've got behind you, but you best explain what that is before we carry on.
Yes, good morning.
Good to see you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Wow. Now, this year's nominations for the Oscars will be announced in just a few hours' time. And as always, there's already plenty of speculation about which films will make the shortlist.
Recent winners include Oppenheimer and The Brutalist, which both picked up several awards, despite having a running time of more than 3 hours. So is a longer film more likely to win big?
Well, let's take a look at what could be in the mix this year and how long you would have to spend watching them. And I think we were saying the nominations out at 1:30 today.
Yes, of course, coverage across BBC throughout the day today. We've got the headlines coming up in just a moment. Well, let's go to our economics editor, Faisal Islam, who's in Davos, where folded by the end of the day.
It's 9:15. Time to catch up again with Matt for some wet weather news, I suspect. Morning.
I think you're about right, Sarah. Yes.
Thank you.
Now, that was a national picture. Time now to get the news, the travel and the weather wherever you are this morning.
You'll hear it all.
Lovely to see you this morning.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
no, thank you for having me.
It's called The Ballad of Johnny and June, starting a UK tour in theatres on the 2nd of March.
That is it from us on Breakfast. We will, of course, be back tomorrow from 6. Goodbye.